can become addicted to being average.
Right. Woof. Woo. Yeah. Facts. Oh my God.
I don't want any father that may hear this under the sound of my voice, as Papa used to say.
Right.
To be addicted to being average.
You can't.
Because the one who created you is far more than average.
Man, you say it again.
And he entrusted you, as you said before, with this life. And there, like you said, there are so many out here that desire, and good people.
They're very good people.
That desire the opportunity you have. But you're addicted to being average. To the mundane.
To the run-of-the-mill.
And you just go day by day drifting. Yeah. What's going on, family? Kevin and Jesse here with you guys today with the Elite State of Mind podcast. As always, our goal is to listen, learn, and grow. Jesse, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I am doing amazing. Family, make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram page. Hit that little bell on YouTube so that you get notified every Wednesday afternoon as Jesse and I are with you guys as you're on your way home and getting off of work. What we're going to do today, family, is the last two questions in the survey we sent out to the fathers. We're going to go ahead and get into those, and that's going to wrap up our series on fatherhood. We do appreciate everybody who's taken this journey of fatherhood with us. And again, we want to continue to encourage all the dads out there that are doing, their thing to continue to do that, and then, learn to do even more. So the third question was, what is your favorite part of being a father? And one answer was when your child understands what you're saying, applies it, and witnesses positive results. And to me, it's kind of like, as we talked about last time, sometimes you feel your labor is in vain. Sometimes you feel like, many of the conversations you're having, or sometimes you feel the things you're pouring in is one ear and out the other. But then when you see them, listen and do and apply, and then as the answer given, to see those positive results, man, you're like, oh, there it is. Because then they buy in.
Yes.
Then like, oh, yes, you're not crazy. No, I know I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I'm crazy. But I have your best interest in heart. Right. I can understand that.
What is your favorite part of being a father?
Just seeing the development, just seeing the growth that takes place, like you were saying, and like the responder said, when they get the concept for themselves, and that light bulb goes off, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, I would say probably my favorite part of being a father is as you watch, like you said, they're growing and they're developing, and then the things that sometimes they used to need you for, they figure out how to do it.
Yes.
For themselves.
Yes.
Because you're like, we are on the right path. We are, and then not only are we on the right path, but we are getting courage to strike out and do some things on our own, from simple task of using the microwave or using the toaster, making, their own bowl of cereal, whatever the case may be. Wanting to try new things, because you're like, man, I think one of the scariest parts of it is you never want to pass on your fears.
Yeah, no.
As a father, you're like, you want your kids to continue, that fearlessness. And then, we'll digress just for a moment. Kids come into the world scared of nothing. Right. And obviously there are certain things that they need to be aware of.
Yeah.
Don't stick your hand or your finger in the outlet.
Right.
Don't turn on the stove and dive on it and get burnt up like you're Darth Vader.
Let's not do that.
They're just, don't go picking up rattlesnakes. Right? Yeah. But in that, it's also, what's the best way to keep that fearlessness but teach caution?
Just that they respect those things. There's no reason to be afraid of them, like you said. That fearfulness is a learned behavior. Being afraid of something is a learned behavior. Right. But I think also keeping fear in the right perspective. Again, it goes to the language. It goes to the definition. Are you fearing it as that you are afraid of it? Or are you fearing it as you have a reverence or a respect for it? It's like when people deal with the Creator. Are you fearful He's going to send you to hell? Are you fearing the position and place that he has in your life. Those are two different things.
Right, having respect for him and who and what he is and his presence, or you just out here scared that you can't live your life anyway.
Right.
And do whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. And for many of us, it's just because we can't do whatever we want to do.
Right.
And we're fearful that death may overtake us in a fault before we decide to get right.
Yeah.
Before we decide to put down the foolishness.
Yep.
Don't be fearful. Don't be fearful, family. Just go ahead and put the foolishness away.
There's no need.
It's tough. We've all been there. All been there in those tough spots and had those times where you don't want to, but it's for your betterment. One thing I've definitely learned, with this journey of fatherhood is that the discipline that you show always breeds success.
Yes.
Discipline will always be like we've had the conversation just this past week. That discipline is a winner's word.
Yeah.
It is not the language of a loser.
It is not,
because losers are undisciplined with their time, efforts, money, and resources. And bad fathers are undisciplined, and they create undisciplined children. Yeah. Which then in turn just perpetuates the cycle of losing.
Very true.
So if you want to win, you got to become disciplined.
Accept it. You have to accept the discipline.
Yeah. How do we accept discipline?
Well,
especially as fathers, because we go from doing our thing,
right?
We go from this life is about me,
right?
And even then you find a way to do it. Even once you have the child, you're like, okay, I can still move and do my thing. But how do we lock down and I'm going to accept the discipline of fatherhood and all that it entails?
I think that's just the growth, man. There's a maturing that takes place that you accept that discipline. Understanding that you have to apply it to yourself. Like you said, you go from I'm wild and free or whatever.
You out here Deuce Bigelow
you out here doing your thing to I accept the idea that it ain't about me anymore. That my thoughts and my words and my actions are going to affect this small person, and either it's going to be a positive or a negative. So when that thought comes into your mind, you're going, all right, then I have to accept the discipline that comes along with that. And you have to be, like, people talk about self-discipline all the time, but it is a process. It's not just something that just you wake up and go, I have all the self-discipline in the world.
Lies.
And,
super lies.
Like, don't play yourself.
Extra lies.
Right? Like, don't play yourself out like, oh, yeah, I ain't worried about it. I'm extremely self-disciplined. No, you're not. Because discipline at its core is a practice. Daily. Right? It is a practice, and it is a philosophy that you have to accept and say, hey, this is for my betterment. It's going to be for the betterment, of those around me, to those who are inside my sphere of influence. So it's something that I have to get better at. Right? Again, that's some winner's language. Right. It's a massive thing, an undertaking that, when you make a transition and you accept the position of being a father, then you'll be all right with it. Right. So, the discipline of fatherhood is, like you said, it really comes down to the acceptance and do I practice it? Yeah. Every single day. Yes. Because it is a choice that you have to make daily. Because we're all human. Talk about that, bro. We're all human. Everybody wakes up and there are days, especially you have a baby and then their babies cry. And they can't do anything for themselves. There are days you look at them like, man, you need to grow up. Right. And the funniest thing is you'll say, you're really being a baby today. And you really, they look at you like, yeah, I am. That is what I am. Yeah. I am a baby. And you need to take care of me. Yeah. But you have to make that. You have to make that choice. Because like you said, I cannot stress enough the reward of what discipline brings in your life. As we learn from, making budgets, from making plans, to not entertaining foolishness. Right. And if you'll do those things, if you'll stick to the tenets, like you said, fatherhood will bring alive the conversations you have with your creator. Oh, yeah. They will bring alive those things. And as we, had the conversation not long ago about plans, and do plans constitute responsibility? Great conversation. If they lack depth, they are bad plans, and there's no responsibility. There's no responsibility to a bad plan. But as fathers, if you will plan out
what you want the overarching theme of your household to be, what you want the goal of your household to be, from yourself to your spouse to your children to even the pets, to whatever's in your house, to how many hours your TV's gonna be on, when you're gonna wash dishes, what you're gonna cook throughout the week. If you will have the discipline to sit down and write those things out, it's the preparation. The preparation and discipline, they make all these things flow so easy. I was as I'm reading now, Talent's Never Enough, John C. Maxwell, he talked about the expedition of Lewis and Clark, and he said, as they planned, I believe it was 3 years, a little bit over 3 years, for a journey that they believed should take 12 to 18 months, but I think they believed it to take about 12 months, but they planned longer than they did to actually complete the activity. And we flip it. We want to plan for 5 minutes to have a successful business over 5 years.
Have a successful life.
And you have to guide this life from its inception to then whenever you die, because you never stop being a father.
Here's the thing, bro. It's not just from when you pass away. If you're really planning properly, then you're thinking to their end until their children's end.
You're generational
in your thought process. Because if you're not, then you're doing yourself and them a huge disservice.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing, because we lack the discipline to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to take this time to map these things out, and then you know what? I don't really understand why I put that in there. Hey, bro, I see you've had a child and they've been successful.
Yes.
Take a look at this for me.
Yes.
Hey, well, 1, 3, 4, and 5 are good. 2 sucks. Take that out.
Get rid of that.
Get rid of that. Oh, okay. So I shouldn't pencil in Daniel Tiger. Get that out of here. Right? But if we will, as fathers, really lock in on the discipline of fatherhood, and then it also goes into the discipline of manhood. That'll be something else we talk to you guys about, another day. But if we'll lock in on that discipline and give it the time, give yourself to the study of, again, if you'll study successful fathers, whether it was your father, grandfather, uncles, cousins, it doesn't matter the age.
No,
right? They don't have to be 90.
Nope.
You might know somebody younger than you that's an extraordinary father.
That's a better father than you, and that's okay.
Hey, ask what they're doing. Keep that humility in there and see what it takes. See what it takes and why. Because I promise you this: if they're successful, they have discipline. And every day they have some sort of routine, some sort of something that they go to in their checklist and how they run it down. Because then it becomes an autopilot. And then you can do the Nick Saban. Then you can do the Bill Belichick. The system is the system. You can do the Patty Gasso.
That's right.
The system is the system.
Shout out, Patty. And
all we do is win titles.
Yeah.
Because that's the standard.
That's the standard.
And fathers, you got to set a standard for your family. I can't stress enough that if you want your children, and I believe we all look at our kids and say, hey, I want you to be successful. I want you to go out and be the greatest that you were intended to be everything, become, as you said so often before. Our job is to become what he made us to be.
That's right.
With fathers, we have to set the standard. And if you want the standard to be going to college, well, hey, maybe you didn't accomplish that by the time they got here. But before they get out of high school, you got 18 years.
You have 18 years.
You can chip away at the rock.
That's right.
You can do that thing. And if you're like, hey, the standard is now this degree.
Standard is now MBA.
Go do more.
For example,
if you're an entrepreneur, again, you got, hey man, then we're doing this, we're chipping away at this thing, so that they understand this is the standard. Our standard is not mediocrity.
We as fathers have to set a culture, a championship culture, like you said, in the household, and mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's a champ. Here is the standard, and we will not accept anything less. And then we have to walk that out. That we're not going to accept anything less than the championship. That's it, because that's who we are.
That's who we are.
Forget about what everybody else is doing. That's who we are, and this is what we do.
Every day we win championships. And then you break down, and that was one of the other answers was, what's your favorite part about being a father? Was celebrating the small wins, or all wins. Not the small ones, but all wins.
All wins.
fathers, we will so often, and it's because that's how we were raised. We're so quick to, bring negative reinforcement, or to bring punishment, when, the child is quote unquote, not listening. But many times it's not that they're not listening, it's that they don't know.
Pretty much.
And like any other lesson
don't know.
that you were taught, not everybody gets something the first time.
They don't.
Especially when it's brand new to them.
They just got here.
When we started the podcast, we didn't know.
We didn't know.
And we're still learning. We are forever learning.
Yes. We should be. Should be attitude.
Right.
So,
man, the reinforcing of positive encouragement.
Yeah.
And when they do huge. Something right.
That's huge.
Hey, you made your bed. Yeah. Great job.
Yes.
Hey, you brushed your teeth. Great job.
You should be proud that you did what you said you were going to do.
And committed to that thing and saw it through.
Yeah.
Because it just, again, it reinforces and gives them that encouragement and confidence. Like you said in the last episode, it gives me that confidence that I can go do this. But so often, because we as fathers don't do that, all they expect is for the dad voice to come out when they're not listening.
That's ridiculous. And like you said, it's because that's how we do ourselves. Because that's the voice that we have. Because that's what we received. Versus actually changing, the language and changing the voice that we have. Yeah, it takes work. It takes a lot of work. But like you said, you have to do it on purpose with intent. That no, I'm going to speak in this manner. Because this is how the winners speak. The parents who are successful and having good success with, their children, wherever they're sending them, they speak to them in a certain way. I don't know people, like you said, you have to study that. Study how these parents are talking to their kids, right? They transition from the commanding to the let's reason together.
Come, let us reason together.
Right.
Because then you understand you're going to participate in this conversation. And we are going to arrive at the solution and resolution.
That's right.
So therefore, now I've taught you how to problem solve.
That's right.
How to see, okay, this didn't work out. I didn't make the grade I wanted to make. Well, how do I then do that and get the desired result?
That's right.
But you can't teach what you ain't got. We said it last time. You can't pour from that empty cup.
Sure can't.
Right. And so I do want to encourage, fathers that one of your favorite things for being a father should be to become a better father.
Yes. Day
by day, week by week, month by month, and year by year.
Yep.
Because if you look up in fatherhood and you're the same father you were when your child was born, you failed.
That's not working.
You failed.
That's not it. That's not it. That's not acceptable.
That is not the standard.
That's not the standard.
That's not the standard.
That's not it.
It's just not. Because your kid needs you to grow.
Yeah.
They need you to be more.
True statement, bro.
They need you to be the best, as the Army says, be all that you can be.
Be all that you can be.
But you
and then some.
Hey, and then some.
And then some.
Right? And then you got to, if you're a dad, your goal ought to be to join the Fatherhood SEAL Team 6.
Right.
So people look at you as the pinnacle of fatherhood in whatever your field is, whatever your craft may be, and we should all be striving for that. You can't stress that enough. The personal growth that we should all be on, because if your plan lacks depth, if you're just fly by night and you are going to depend, let me go off on this. We'll get back to our questions just here in a minute. If you're going to depend on other people, on from whether it's your pastor, whether it's the deacons, if you're going to depend on the teachers, if you're going to depend on coaches to push your child to be the best that they can be, because again, those are resources, but they're not the source.
They're not the source.
You are the source.
That's why they give you. That's why you're called the father. Right. That's why. That's the importance of you actually going to go study what the word means, what it all entails. Because not only are you part of the creation, right, but part of that is to provide and sustain. You are to sustain.
That's why he
these
is
individuals,
the all-sufficient one.
Right? That's why we call him that, because of his ability to sustain.
The giver and sustainer.
The giver and sustainer.
We'd all like to give life.
Yeah.
But then you come to me for that sustaining. Ooh, hey, look here.
Listen.
look here, big dog. I'm not. You better go on down to the Ricky.
Right.
He sustains, not me.
Oh no.
I'm not sustaining nothing.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That it can't be. As a father, you got to make sure that you are out there sustaining and doing your best. to sustain life. Because, man, if you don't, somebody else and some other things will influence your kids. And you're going to look up, and at 18, you're not going to know who they are.
Right.
You're not going to know what they are, what they've become.
Right.
And then you're going to be trying to force feed these things down their throat. That's not them.
They're not accepting that.
When you don't know their gifts, goals, talents, dreams, aspirations, their strengths, their weaknesses, because you weren't disciplined.
Right.
Because you were out here helter-skelter. And I'm not saying that you're out here, being a person of ill means and ill-gotten gain. What I mean helter-skelter is you're just not paying attention. Right. As you said last time, you don't know what's going on in your home. You don't know what's going on with them. Don't know the teacher's name or the grades that they're making.
None of that.
Right? Because you're wrapped up in, you're tired from work.
Yeah.
You're tired from, dealing with Bob. He's on your nerves. You're tired because, you're not pouring into yourself by reading and growing, as we talked about.
Right.
Your fitness level is not where it should be. So now you need all 12 hours of sleep.
Right. Even though you're fully grown.
Right. Then you get to the crib, and all you want to do is eat, watch shows, or play video games.
Right. Right.
And we're not disciplined enough.
You're tasked to do more than that.
To be more.
You're tasked to do more than that. At the point that where you get blessed, right? Because there are many men and also women out here that strongly desire that position that you hold.
Facts.
And for you to just cast little importance on it just because you're tired.
You're trying to destroy the heritage of the Lord.
Right.
Not taking care of his reward.
That's problematic. That's an issue.
Well, just understand the master of the house is going to come knock on your door.
Right. That's an issue.
And you got to pay what you owe.
That's an issue. What did you do with these individuals? Okay.
You're going to have to pay what you owe.
Okay.
Because he's going to come to balance the books. That brother keep a zero-based budget.
Yeah.
And every minute he gives you on this earth has an assignment.
Yeah.
And if you're,
understanding that, though. We have to get to that understanding. That we have nothing that's wasted. Right? That we if we're going to be a good steward, as part of being a good father, that I can't waste not only my time,
but
theirs either. I can't waste it.
Are you wasting your child's time?
It's too precious. I can't waste it. Who am I? How dare I waste it or allow someone else? Allow somebody else.
That's another one.
To waste their time. Because, again, they're tired. See, you're a father. That's your job to protect their time also.
From all things, foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
Don't let them waste their time watching all the shows. Don't let them develop those habits.
No.
That's something, me and my daughter, we talk about that. Like, hey, no, it's summertime. You're not just going to sit up and watch TV all day.
Right.
Got to read. We got to draw. Let's go outside and play.
Let's go play.
Let's go do some things and then be creative. Hey, whether you just use your imagination in doing these things are important.
Yes.
Because if not, you'll become a drifter. And you don't want to be a drifter because then you'll be on your way to hell.
Right.
I'm not going to go down that road right now. But don't be a drifter. Shout out Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil.
Right, Outwitting the Devil.
If you haven't read it yet, I would, especially as a father, because the dangers. Oh, the dangers.
All the dangers. Here they come. They come back around, didn't they?
All the dangers. The dangers of drifting.
Yes.
There's nothing worse.
Yeah.
Because fathers, again, you don't have to worry about the devil always bringing, Susie by your desk.
Right.
That's not always his ploy.
That's not it,
right?
Man.
You don't always have to worry about you're getting in a car wreck and then something like that messing up your life, or you getting strung out, on any sort of addiction. Because you can become addicted to being average.
Right. Woof. Woo. Yeah. Facts. Oh my God.
I don't want any father that may hear this under the sound of my voice, as Papa used to say.
Right.
To be addicted to being average.
You can't.
Because the one who created you is far more than average.
Man, you say it again.
And he entrusted you, as you said before, with this life. And like you said, there are so many out here that desire, and good people.
They're very good people.
That desire the opportunity you have. But you're addicted to being average. To the mundane.
To the run of the mill.
And you just go day by day drifting.
Yeah.
Watching the shows, playing the game, Here's the thing, I've been guilty of it myself.
Yeah, hey, we all been guilty.
Been guilty of it myself. Get out of shape.
We've all been guilty.
But that's why you got to go find like-minded people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got to go do something to change the trajectory of not just yourself, but again your family, so you can protect those things.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever your children see you doing,
that's what they're going to do.
And like Jesse said earlier, man, you set the tonality.
Yes, that's you.
Well,
set the tone.
What's the best way for the fathers, if we're just going to take it day by day, to get up and set the tone, the championship tone of fatherhood?
Well, listen, get up. As Mama always tells us all the time, let the wind blow through you.
Say it again.
Because the science says when you get up and let this wind blow through you, the air at that particular time is the freshest air that you're going to receive throughout the entire day. Ooh. It has what you need to help energize you from the inside out early in the morning.
Get out there on the porch.
The dew is there, okay? People don't understand how important that aspect actually is. So you want to get up when the sun is up or before it.
Mm-hmm. Beat the sun up.
Right? Get that up, okay? You spend some time. See, if you do that, then you're able to spend a little time with your creator. Right? So it's quiet. So you're able to get a download. You're able to see what you need to do. See, if you made a plan, you get to make adjustments to the plan because you've had your meeting, okay, with your head coach. You've made that meeting. You're there. So you know, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we need to do today. This is today's assignment. Here's today's practice.
Schedule.
Here's our schedule. Here's what we're going to do. Right? So you've done that. You got up early. You had your meeting. Then you fuel yourself a little bit if that's what you do. Okay? And then you're on about your work. So you planned your day. Right? You have a plan, and then you're going to work it.
Your father's got to have a plan. To break it down to the simplest thing, discipline, have a plan. And the plan needs depth. Then you'll be responsible.
It has to have depth.
If your plan has depth, I mean, just in the last, few months, we've learned from the things we've learned about talking to our mentor.
Right.
The more intricate details of the plan, the depth, that if you'll take in that time of preparation, it will make success easy on massive scales.
Yes.
On massive scales. Yes. Yeah. And if you teach your children how to do that, they will then perpetuate that through the rest of their life.
From an early age. Yes.
And then they can teach it to their children from the time they're born. And that's all they'll know. And then that's how you get that championship standard.
That's right.
That's how you just keep hanging banners. Keep hanging banners. Because that's what you want to do.
That's right.
How do I keep getting banners? As the Warriors just won. Yeah. But they have an expectation of. Because they've done it 3 times before.
They went from being a terrible franchise. Terrible. Shout out to Mark Jackson, who came in and turned that culture around. Right? All Steve Kerr had to do was come in and not mess it up. Right? Sit down and say, hey, I won with the Bulls. I won with the Spurs.
Coach with Pop.
There you go. Just hey, these are things I can add to.
Hey, he said, Mark got us a good meal. Steak, little asparagus, good sweet potato. Yeah. Hey man, you ever thought about putting a little garlic butter on the steak?
Right.
Oh, well, that's a little secret sauce there, Steve.
Too much sauce.
and then he continues.
Yes.
He continues in that manner. Yeah. So it's so important to develop the championship culture. In our family because it just resonates from outside of your immediate family to your cousins, your nieces, nephews, and all down through there, and then they can look at you and say, "I can follow your path to success." And it's a little bit easier for them.
Yeah.
So, Jesse, one of the other questions, question 3 was, what would be the best advice that you received, and then the best memory that you have?
Okay. I think the best advice I received was from dearly departed cousin, Larry.
Oh, cousin Larry, R.I.P. again.
Yeah.
Cousin Larry.
Yeah, where he said, hey, and this was well before. I think I might have been in middle school.
Okay.
Right? Well before I had the thought of, growing up life, kids, all this stuff. He said, hey, man, understand this. When the time comes, you're going to be writing a particular chapter in the book of fatherhood. He said, it looks different for everybody. I remember I was sitting in his house in Seminole. He said, it looks different for everybody. right? People will have their opinions, in which we've learned here of late, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That they have their opinions, but he said, don't be swayed.
Okay.
You have to understand that your chapter is your chapter. And you got to do the best that you can with all you have and what you know. And your source is God our Father. Some of the best advice that I've had, and it just sustains the fact that people want to tell your time. This is, oh, you need to do this. You may be quiet. Because it doesn't align with the plan, with the plan and the purpose that I have said. It's my job. See, people don't understand, right? If the father is there and actually is involved in you know, he understands his assignment. Everybody talking about, oh, they understand the assignment.
Right.
Now you dealing with some cats that understand the assignment. So your interjection into what's going on. See, I've already set a course and a plan of action because I spend time with the Creator about this individual to whom he entrusted me with. You may shut the entirety of the hell up. That's what you may do. Okay? And if you want to have a strong opinion on what needs to be done, in the words of the late Reverend Jesse Woodfork Sr., I suggest you do what it takes to create one, and then you may tell him or her what it is they can do.
Yeah, and you know, the crazy part about that, bro, is this. With your kids, like you said, you spend time, you set a plan. But then if I have an interjection, shouldn't I first, hey, you know, what's your plan?
Yeah, there you go.
We should have a conversation about where you see your child going. And then, well, hey, man, try this out.
Right.
If it works for you.
Yes.
Hey, man, let me know.
But see, bro, that speaks to the heart and the intention of the individuals who want to interject themselves into business that isn't theirs.
Facts. Fathers, keep people with bad intentions out your business, no matter who they are. If it's your parents, you know, the other set of grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, homies, past lovers, whomever it may be. Right. If they have ill intentions, no, keep them out your business. Because the only person that has to give account for what happened with that child is you.
It's you.
It's not even, I don't care, you know, whomever it was that gave you that bad advice. When the day comes, and you have to go stand before the judgment seat. Right. It's not going, because you first got the advice. Right. Because then the question is going to be, so why'd you give it? And why'd you take it when you knew it was bad? Right. You never get held accountable for what you don't know. No. So don't think that. But when you know it's bad advice, when you know this person doesn't know what they're talking about.
Right. There's no evidence. Right. There's no evidence of them knowing what they talk about. Right. Okay. If they're not in the same position that you are, they have no evidence. If you can look over their particular life and it is not successful, they have no evidence for them even having an opinion on what it is that you should be doing or what you need to do.
Facts.
It's just that simple.
Those are
it's
facts.
Just that simple.
As we digress.
Yes.
I think the best advice that I got from my dad, you know, when I was young, he would say, son, you need to learn to pray while the sun is shining. So when the storm comes, you can sleep easy. You see, so many of us, especially, you know, us, you know, as people of color, as black people, but we sure know how to seek him out. Right. When I'm down to my last dollar.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Lord, if you would, one more time, Jesus, bless this bank account.
Right. But why?
But if I will spend time with him, as you said, when everything is okay, when the boat's not rocky, when it's smooth sailing, if I don't forget him in the good times,
that's what he said, right?
When the bad times come,
don't forget me.
I can be of good cheer, because I already know.
I know the outcome.
It's okay.
I paid attention to the market. That is him.
I know how this is moving. I'm prepared. I'm like the ant.
Yes.
I've stored up.
Yes.
So I would definitely say the best piece of advice I got was to pray while the sun is shining. So when the storm comes, you can sleep easy.
That's good.
Because man, you know, so many times as they did in the boat.
Yeah.
Master, do you not? All of this going on around us.
Oh, listen, and isn't that what, you know, our mastermind speaks of often? I'm not concerned about what's going on. You see in the story, the master was not concerned about what was going on. He posed the question, why? Why are you bothering me?
Didn't I say? come, let us go
Yes.
to the other side.
Yes.
And him being the omnipotent, all-present being, him being whom they said they believed him to be.
Right.
Rabbi.
Right.
The Christ.
Right.
King of kings and Lord of lords. Whom they, the Son.
Right.
So if he just said something so simple, he didn't
Yeah.
say, hey, come let us lift up this mountain with our minds. He didn't give you the Yoda.
Yeah.
Lift this ship with your mind.
Bend this net.
He simply says, let's get in this boat
Yeah.
and venture to the other side.
Something that's tangible. Something that you can see, believe, feel.
You can see the other side.
You've done it many
You walk
times.
up to the boat.
Right.
You inspect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good boat, solid.
Yeah.
And we've been in this boat before.
We've done it before.
We probably got from this side, from the other.
Right.
And he says, let us go to the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I understand we're all human.
Yes.
So, and there's nothing scarier than being a first-time parent, in my opinion. Right? But if you have a belief and faith in him, right? And you may get a little shaky.
It grows during that process, though.
But you have to be able to hear his voice. Because as a father, if you'll hear the voice of your father, it'll help you keep peace.
You seek it out, right? Because of that experience, like you said, first time, you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? You seek it. You go seeking that, you know?
Man. And then you're not running around helter-skelter.
Right. Right.
Master.
Right.
Do you not see the tempest? Do you not see the wind? As he's already said, hey, let us go to the other side. So fathers, how does let me say this. If he said my thoughts toward you are thoughts of good things,
Right.
to prosper, that you may have an expected end. He's already said you're going to get to the other side of this.
Yeah.
He's already told you on the other side of this. My favorite one is when David said, I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord here in the land of the living. So if he said, I'm going to bless you, I got you. There are just some things you need to do.
Yeah.
But again, he made sure you had the materials to build you a good boat. You can build a sail. Ain't no holes in your ship.
Right.
You just need to make sure there ain't too many people in the boat.
Uh-oh.
But he had accounted for the number. He knew the time of the journey.
Right.
And said, hey, we're going to go to the other side. Fathers, he's going to take you to the other side.
Yeah.
And as the life travails against you, if you would have been in conversation with him before, and you know the source,
There's a confidence, there's a peace, there's a calmness that comes along with that.
man,
But, you know.
then in those rough times, you can hear, oh, XYZ happened. Okay. So let's deal with it. Now, how do we get from point A to point B? And that's all we need to worry about.
That's right.
Because you're not driven by your emotions. If we just take that story again, they let emotion take over.
Yes, they did.
The emotion of fear.
Yes.
But he already knew, we're going to the other side. What do y'all? It's okay.
Yep. He never said it was going to be smooth sailing. But he did say,
we're going to get there.
we're going to get there.
And you're going to be all right.
Yep.
And he said, we're all going.
Yeah.
Not, well, if 10 of y'all get in,
No.
only 2 of y'all are making it.
Right? It makes you think about when he says, hey, we're going to the other side. And everybody, like you said, everybody's going. It reminded me of, in John 17, when he prayed it said that all those that you've given me and placed in my hand, I've lost none of them. It's deep, man. It's deep.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's, So I would definitely encourage you, pray while the sun is shining, family, especially
That's
fathers.
good,
Do that. And then what would you say is probably your fondest memory?
That's tough, man. That's hard because I feel like, man, you're trying to make and capture, right, all of these memories, and the prayer is that God, that you keep my mind into old age, so that I can remember all of these things as they progress, learning how to walk. First word when folks had their mouth fixed to say, oh, I don't know, something might not be right. Prove yourself over and over again, right? Well, I know, he sure did. He said it smooth.
He was a year old.
Right?
He had head on the table.
Yes. Man, I never forget that. That was...
I said, Fat Daddy, what you say?
Right.
Okay.
It was good stuff, man.
Oh, that was good. Oh, that was good.
Yeah. So it's like those things, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my fondest one of my fondest memories, something actually just it was a recent one. So normally so a lot of times in the summer, me and my sister, we would go to Seminole, and we'd spend time with my grandparents. And one thing I always remember, at old 2400 Whispering Oak, we would he would go old school and poke holes in the in the water holes, or we'd go to Walmart and buy water guns, and my grandfather, he'd come out there with us, and then we play with the water guns. And so recently, we went and we got us some water guns, and me and Grace would get out there, we'd play, and we'd play with the water guns this summer. So it's just it just makes you think back to how these things will repeat themselves, and how these things are innate in us to recreate some of the memories, and good times that we've had with fathers or father figures, in our life, because they brought joy, to us, and then to see that same joy, that same happiness for a moment, to be there in the life of the child, of your child is a great thing. But to do that, you got to be present. Yes. To do that, you got to be present and offer your presence. Yeah. So Jesse, before we get out of here, what I would appreciate if you shared with the fathers, from all the things that we've talked about over these last four episodes, if you could quantify, not quantify, but if you could sum up fatherhood in two steps, as he did, as he took the 10 Commandments, and gave it to him
and gave us in two.
What would you say maybe the two most important things of fatherhood are?
I got to pull from those two. Really, the same way you have to love our Creator, your heart, your soul, and your mind, because He's going to be the source that's going to direct, the particular path. Right? He says, He'll light your path, and so you're supposed to be the light to the path of these individuals that you have been given to steward, right? Because they don't know. Okay, and so, secondly, just be aware that you don't know everything. So you got to operate in a massive state of humility and to give as much grace as you possibly can at every single moment that you can, because you need it also.
Okay. I definitely agree. I would say this, fathers, I believe the most important thing that we can do is to have a voice of love, because our Creator, He loves us back to righteousness. He doesn't beat you back to righteousness. Right. He doesn't shame you, guilt you,
any of that.
Any of those things. He doesn't, teach you harsh lessons back to righteousness.
He don't tough love you back.
Yeah. But He said, I'm going to love you back to righteousness, back to good standing, back to all of your gifts, talents, and aspirations, back to whom I want you to be.
Yes.
Because He's continually holding that place for you, ready for you to walk in it, as our aunties tell us.
Yeah.
Walk in it. And that's all you got to do.
Yeah.
So make sure with our children that you have that voice of love. And the only way to have that is to have it with yourself.
Right.
Speak to yourself in love so you can speak to them in love. Guys, we sure do appreciate you guys for being with us today. As always, our goal is to listen, learn, and grow. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe, and follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Y'all have a great day.